Welcome everybody to update number 36. So yeah, HMV with their premium collection, Signal 1 and Arrow Video have all had sales on in the last couple of weeks, and yeah, some really rather fantastic sales, a lot of really good deals, and yeah, so got a fair few of them here, so we'll take a look at the premium collection ones first, then the Signal 1, and then we'll look at the Arrow Video ones, because yeah, Arrow Video were by far the cheapest of the bunch, and that's why I've got so much more of them. So yeah, from the premium collection though, we have firstly New Jack City, which has a fantastic cast: Wesley Snipes, Ice-T, Chris Rock, Mario Van Peebles and Judd Nelson, as well as numerous others. And yeah, this kind of set off the whole Hood films from the 90s, swiftly followed by Boys in the Hood and Dead Presidents and the like. But yeah, and even though this isn't my favourite of those, it's still a really good effort, and yeah, it looks pretty good on its Blu-ray release. And yeah, even though, again, like I said, it's not the best effort purely because the plot is a little bit rushed, it feels like a much grander film that has been squeezed down into a, what is it, 100-minute time. It feels like a 2-hour, 2.5-hour film that has been trimmed down quite a fair bit. But still, you also get some nice art cards. No poster though. You do at least get a art card of the poster itself. And there's Ice-T and Mario Van Peebles. There's Ice-T again, holding his gun. And there's a bunch of the cast there. So yeah, pretty good film. Wouldn't have bought it at full price, but considering there were two for 15, more than well worth it. Now these next two I haven't actually seen yet, but I am looking forward to doing so. And the first of those is Mutiny on the Bounty, starring Charles Laughton and Clark Gable. Charles Laughton has been in several really good films that I've seen. I think he was in Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is also another premium collection film. But yeah, bit of an epic this, 133 minutes long, from 1935. New Jack City, by the way, is from 1991. And yeah, 1935, so pretty long film for that period, even though obviously some silent films were even longer than that. And yeah, again, no poster with this one, but you do get a nice booklet, which isn't something you usually get. I think the only other one of these that I've had that has a booklet is Casablanca. Not to say that others don't have, you know, a booklet like this, but still, I don't get all of them because not all of them are films that I particularly enjoy. But yeah, you get a shots from the film, you get a write up on the movie, you get a yeah, basically just a bunch of stuff from the film, basically, which is pretty cool. And yeah, got Academy Award nominations up the wazoo. It won Best Picture for 1935. But also, he had a Best Actor in a Leading Role, Best Actor in a Leading Role for twice, Charles Laughton and Clark Gable, so they were competing against each other in that category. Oh, and so was Francois Tone, who was also getting nominated. So, yeah, and Best Director, Best Film Editing, Best Music, and Best Writing. So, yeah, pretty phenomenal. Oh, yeah, and he also, yeah, pretty phenomenal film then. It must have been back in 1935 to get all of those nominations. And then we have from 1966, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Now, I've heard great things about this, especially given he's got Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, who eventually would become a couple, or they were a couple at the time, I can't quite remember. But yeah, again, another quite a long film, only 2 minutes shorter than Mutiny on the Bounty. But yeah, it's supposed to be a really rather searing drama. And yeah, really looking forward to eventually getting around to watching it. Again, no poster with this one. Seems like I've got most of the ones with posters, to be honest. But yeah, again, you do get art cards. So there's the film poster itself, the original one. And there's the one we get with this release. And there's 3 of the cast members. And there's another 4 of the cast members with some of the castings on the bottom there. So yeah, pretty decent art cards. And this final one from the premium collection is one I have seen, and it is The Adventures of Robin Hood from 1938, but in Technicolor, and it absolutely looks superb in that Technicolor format. And yeah, Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland are both great. And what I really like about this is the fact that you get the posters for various posters that were used to promote the film, and they're done really nicely as well with the border, as you can see. Really do like them. go for different things on them, to be honest. That's basically the one that we've got with the film itself. And then you also get a French version as well, which again is really nicely done. So yeah, really solid adventure film. Basically this typical Robin Hood story, but really, really well done, quite frankly, and far better than some modern interpretations. And from Signal 1, one of these is the only one I've seen, and yeah, but the first of the ones that I haven't seen is The Three Faces of Eve. Now, I've not heard the best things about this film, but I have heard that Joanne Woodward puts in a fantastic performance, and I think she actually got Oscar nominated or even won an Oscar for her role. So yeah, double disc as well. No book at a poster or anything, but yeah, double disc, Blu-ray and DVD. So yeah, really looking forward to that, especially since it's also got Lee J. Cobb in one of the leading roles, who's one of my favourite actors, quite frankly. And yeah, then we've got the original Nightmare Alley. Now, I've not seen the remake, or the reimagining, I should say, because I don't even think Guillermo del Toro considers it as a remake, but not seen his interpretation of this film. But yeah, still really looking forward to seeing this, because I'm really into my 1940s films, and yeah, got Tyrone Power in it. And yeah, again though, like Three Faces of Eve, it's purely just the double disc, no other extras in that regard. And then a bit of a gamble on this one, but I went for it purely for the cast, and that is Sherlock Holmes in New York. So yeah, Roger Moore, Patrick Macnee, who I think would reunite in A View to a Kill, and yeah, also Charlotte Rampling and John Huston. So yeah, high definition transfer, just a single disc in the basic standard Blu-ray case, but yeah, still hoping it will be at least a fun time. And the only one I have seen out of these Signal ones is Rio Concos, or Contras, however you say it. But yeah, Stuart Whitman, Richard Boone, and Tony Franciosa, and yeah, really solid western. Not the best of its type from the time, and considering it's from 1964, it was probably a little bit outdated in comparison to the spaghetti westerns of the time, but still a really rather solid release. And now, from our video, we have plenty to look at here. But first we're going to look at a box set, and that is Yokai Monsters collection. So yeah, 4 films. First 3 came out in the 60s. The first one came out in 1968, I think it is. Yeah, all 3 of the first ones came out within the space of only 12 months. So 1968 to around 1969, and then the 4th one came out in 2005, and yeah, that was done by Takashi Miike. So yeah, I'd say the first 3 are the better ones, even though I did slightly rate one of them a little bit lower than the 4th one. But yeah, it's the first 3 that are definitely the draw for this collection, quite frankly. And yeah, first one is on its own disc, and the second and third one are on the second disc. I was tempted to get the collector's edition version or the limited edition version of this a long time ago, but I just didn't think I enjoyed all 4 films enough to, you know, want to purchase it. But by no means they're not bad films. The first 3 are really rather solid. I give the first one 3.5, the second one 3, and the third one 3.5, and I gave the 4th one 3.5 as well. Despite some really rather quite dodgy CGI at times, but it was at least decent. So yeah, there's the 4th one. Weirdly though, the 4th one is the least violent of the 4. So the first 3 get a 15 rating, and the 4th one gets a 12 rating. But yeah, got a decent solid box. Not the strongest box ever, but it's decent enough. But yeah, with the limited edition version, you got posters and art cards and whatever else. But just didn't think it was worth the extra money, quite frankly. And yeah, now we've got a bunch of standard editions alongside one limited edition. And the first of those is Massacre Gun. Not seen this, but I've heard good things from it, and it sounds like a really rather decent crime film from Japan. So yeah, looking forward to watching it, to be honest. Don't think I've seen anyone else in anything before in this, but still, should be a decent enough watch. And there's the disc itself. So yeah, it's not often I buy a film that I haven't watched before, but to be honest, when as cheap as they were, it was well worth it. And then we also have The Hired Hand, directed by and starring Peter Fonda, as well as starring Warren Oates. And yeah, Peter Fonda had a lot of weight in the industry after Easy Rider came out, and yeah, he got the chance to do this, which It's a bit of a revisionist western in a lot of ways. You also get a really nice booklet with it as well, as you can see. But yeah, still need to see it, but I am looking forward to it. Then we have one film that I have seen, but it's also got another film with it that I haven't, and that is The Killing by Stanley Kubrick. Also features Killer's Kiss, I think it's called. Yeah, from 1955. Not quite sure which order they are in to be watched, to be honest, because I think The Killing came out in 1956, so I don't know why we have one from one year and then one from the prior year, but regardless, I'm hoping it's good. But at the end of the day, I enjoy The Killing enough to not really care whether or not the added on extra, basically, of a film, as it is only 68 minutes long, is good enough. And then we have Wake Up and Kill. It's an Italian film from the 1960s, and it's, yeah, really rather an action-orientated film, apparently. Brand new 2K restoration in this one as well. And again, double discer with a booklet, just like The Hired Hand. So yeah, DVD and Blu-ray. And again, a booklet. So yeah, looking forward to seeing this. A little bit long, actually. It's more than 2 hours, but should hopefully be well worth the watch and the money, obviously. And then another one I haven't seen, The Conformist. This is an Arrow Academy release, but a standard version, so yeah, don't get anything really with it, but I do like the design of the disc that it's got going on. But yeah, again, another Italian film, not one I've really heard much about, but hopefully it's good. And then we have a pair of giallo films. In fact, we have 5 coming up, in fact, and the first of those is Death Walks on High Heels. Really good. Really genuinely good. 4 out of 5 for sure. And yeah, really surprised me how good it was, because I wasn't expecting much from it, because I hadn't heard the greatest of things about it, but it was genuinely really surprising. And what was even more surprising is that the same director followed it up with Death Walks at Midnight, and this is equally as good as Death Walks on High Heels. And yeah, I do understand that these two got a limited edition version that came out a while ago, but I wasn't into our video back then, and sure as hell not paying overodds to get one now. And then we have The Fifth Chord. This is the one I have actually seen. It's a decent giallo, 3.5 out of 5. I just don't think the kills are particularly great in it to really award it any higher, but still really rather good in every other respect, especially since it's got Franco Nero in the lead role, who is, yeah, one that I really rather enjoyed, quite frankly, in plenty of other films, like Django, for instance. And then we have another giallo from the 70s. We have Death Smiles on a Murderer, starring the Klaus Kaczynski, is it? It looks like Klaus Kaczynski, but it probably isn't. No, don't think it is. But yeah, regardless, it still looks pretty damn good, to be honest, from what I've heard of it. And again, this is a brand new 2K restoration, so yeah, hoping it's good. And yeah, only less than 90 minutes, so it can't be all that bad, quite frankly. And then a more modern giallo film, Neo Giallo, is The Last Matinee. Now, this was only a tenner, despite being quite clearly the limited edition version, because you get a slipcover, and you get a booklet, and you get a poster. Now, this was surprisingly great. I wasn't having the highest of expectations, given it's not by someone I've ever heard of. It's clearly one of those Arrow video films that has been released that probably got on the cheap, because not many people have heard of it before, and they've put it out thinking that people will enjoy it. And I hope people have, because I actually really did. Got really great violence to it. Granted, it does take a little bit of time to get going, and the killer doesn't have much in the way of characterization. In fact, he has none at all. But yeah, you get some really rather nice storyboards in it. With one of the kills being being fantastic, as you can see there. It's called The Lover's Kiss, and yeah, it's really rather quite violent, but really well done. And then the poster is fantastic as well, because you not only get the new artwork on one side, but you get the original artwork in its Spanish language on the other side. So there's the new artwork, which is pretty decent, but it doesn't really blend in with the film itself, because he doesn't A, look like that, and B, he does do the eye thing, but again, he doesn't look like that. But yeah, I like the Spanish side better, to be honest. I love the colours to it, and yeah, that kind of evokes the colours in the film as well, which It's really rather stylishly done. Kind of reminds me of Suspiria in a lot of ways in terms of the way that it's got a lot of vibrant colours to it, and it's set in a cinema, and yeah, it uses that one location really rather nicely. And then we have a pair of westerns, although one really isn't known as a western, it's more of a courtroom drama. But firstly we have Ramrod. Not seen this yet, but it's got Veronica Lake and Joel McCrea in it, and I think I've enjoyed them in stuff before. Only a single disc, but you do get a nice booklet with it as well, which has write-ups in it and shots from the film and the like. So yeah, looking forward to seeing that at some point. And again, not particularly long, only an hour and 35. And finally we have, well, second to last actually, is a western, but only really in terms of setting, because it's much more of a courtroom drama, and it's really rather quite dark. Only clocks in at 75 minutes long, but thematically and characterization wise and acting wise, it does a hell of a lot in that short amount of time. And yeah, it's got Henry Fonda in it, and Donna Andrews in it, and Anthony Quinn, and it's really, really well done. Really highly recommend it, especially considering how short it is, and it's really not gonna waste much of your time. And it's a double disc as well, so DVD and Blu-ray. Show there. And finally, a film that, quite frankly, I'm surprised it was never on my radar before, but I'm glad it finally has come on my radar, and that is Kaltiki, the Immortal Monster. Now, this is pretty much your definitive kind of 50s science fiction horror film, in the fact that it's got a really cool creature, it's got decent set pieces, a bit of a weak middle, but the first act and the third act really make up for it. And yeah, really quite violent as well for a 1950s sci-fi horror film. There was a film before this that I can't remember the name of now, but that featured a beheaded head at one point. You saw the monster carrying it and the like, but this goes even further. You got a severed arm, you got mutilated faces and stuff like that, which for 1959 is pretty great, to be honest. Unfortunately, this is on the standard edition, so you only get the double disc and no booklet or poster or anything like that, but yeah, quite frankly, really, really good. And yeah, not particularly long either, only 76 minutes long. So yeah, really well worth it. So yeah, huge amount of films there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, if you include the second film in The Killing, 15 with the Oxbow incident, 4, 23, 27 thereabouts, I think. But yeah, regardless, really nice to get all of these on sale, and hopefully the films that I haven't yet seen are well worth the effort of buying them. And yeah, but quite frankly, the films that I hadn't seen that I have seen since, like The Last Matinee and the Oxbow Incident, and what else? I think they're actually the only ones that I have seen so far that I bought beforehand, before seeing. But yeah, regardless, I'm sure the rest of them are great. And yeah, if you've seen any of these, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on them. But regardless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you with the next one. Bye.